Aleister Black made his WWE return on SmackDown last night. A title changed hands on SmackDown, and a special one last time match has been set for Backlash. Stay tuned for all the wrestling news. Last night, SmackDown saw the return of someone we have been expecting to make his return for quite some time, Mr. Aleister Black. We have sat each and every week, we've seen these teasers and gone, that's Malachi Black.
He's been walking a really long time. Every time we hear footsteps, it's been a long, wet corridor from wherever he's come from.
A slight creak every time he takes a step. We, of course, did see him return last night. This has been speculated for some time. For even prior to his departure from AEW, the reports were for months and months and months he was going to be finishing up with the company. He's now back in WWE.
And he had loads to say, didn't he, Fraser?
But by God, that man just wouldn't shut up when he was on SmackDown last night. He interrupted The Miz, who was cutting a promo about how he was left off of AEW.
Left off of AEW?
He was left off of WrestleMania this past weekend and how he was snubbed. He took a shot at Joe Hendry, who he called a meme, and that he should have maybe got that spot is what he was alluding to.
Yeah.
But the lights went out and he was interrupted by Aleister Black. Now, Black, his presentation was like he had never left.
Yeah, we had candles, we had the creaky lift. It was no creak though, but it lifted him up, and then he sort of springs to life with the big breathe-in bit of his music, and then down he walks in the ring. Miz is like, "Who the hell are you? Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing here?
Who do you think you are, Black Mass?"
Yeah.
Then he sits down next to him. Music hits. Crowd loved it.
Crowd loved it.
Yeah.
The crowd really, really responded well to this. I guess the fact that it was kind of, as we said, predictable. It was predictable that he was going to be there. We knew he was going to be there. PWN had reported prior to this that it was his good return tonight, or last night.
Well, they'd given away the date of the spooky return. The spooky return had been rumoured to be Andrade, rumoured to be Aleister Black for quite some time. But basically, yeah, I've already seen there's a lot of memes going around. There's one as he's taking his jacket off. There's a lot of chanting of welcome back.
Yeah.
He looks confused and he's looking at the hard cam side, and one of the posts I saw this morning was when he finally sees people on hard cam side for the first time in a good couple of years.
Well, and when we talk about presentation though, you mentioned his music in the creek.
Yes.
He had the exact same music.
Code Orange, keep it. Don't Def Rebel him, for the love of God.
Yeah, we don't want a Def Rebel.
No.
But he had the exact same presentation as what he had prior to leaving WWE. It was nice to see. His look was the same. The man has been selling that eye injury for 5 years.
It was real.
It happened. It's still real to him, damn it. This sort of has set up a match between him and The Miz, which will take place on next week's SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's an easy victory for Black. Like, you re-establish him. It's just not exactly what I want to see. I don't want to see him versus The Miz.
No, make him a killing machine. So that's what I want. If you're going to bring him in and you're going to have him run through challenges, establish him as a dominant competitor before jumping into something, fine. Could we potentially see him in or around the Wyatt stuff when that gets off the ground?
I hope not. I hope not.
Because it's just like, oh, you're spooky. Let's sellotape you together. Karrion Kross, you're spooky. Let's sellotape you all together.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping this sets up maybe him in that mid-card picture for the US title that we've been seeing that is developing quite strongly on SmackDown. The one thing before we move on to the next story, I predicted yesterday that he would return and Black Mass Cody Rhodes. Now, when you look at the shot of him doing that in AEW when he made his debut, Cody Rhodes was in a white suit. The Miz was in a white suit last night. That was fully intentional in my mind. But also on last night's SmackDown, we did see the call-up of some fairly major NXT stars. Fraium are now officially members of the Blue Brand on SmackDown. It was announced before the show that they would be facing Los Garza in tag team action, so we knew that their debut was going to take place.
Yeah, they've kind of been in and around main roster for a little bit, so it wasn't entirely surprising to know they'd be on the show, but now that they're kind of here, fully established, it's post-Mania re-debut week and joining call-up week.
And what a tag team to have on the show. They beat Los Garza in their match on SmackDown, and then following that, they did have a backstage promo with Fraser saying, "I'm so proud to be part of the SmackDown roster, and I'm even more proud to be doing it with my best amigo here." Axiom added, "Tonight was the night for me. Tonight was the night for us. Our dreams came true tonight." I think you immediately propel them to the top of that division.
I'm happy we kept the LSD camera.
Yeah, the sort of trippy,
the weird sort of, whoa, they're moving so fast.
Moving so fast stuff. The match I immediately want to see, though, is them versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Give me that match. Yeah. The Hardys match was great.
They should have just thrown them into the main event, as far as I'm concerned.
I genuinely, they should have done that. Talking main event, we'll get onto that very, very shortly. But in the meantime, there was also a title change on SmackDown last night. What happened?
So Zelina Vega is now the Women's United States Champion after defeating Chelsea Green on SmackDown. There was a little bit of interference on Chelsea Green's part that sort of led to Alba Fire and Piper Niven being kind of cast away, and that allowed Zelina Vega to sort of quickly capitalize. She hit a destroyer and she picked up the big victory, and she looked in absolute shock, and then immediately Alba and Piper storm the ring. She runs off up the ramp, but yeah, she's absolutely buzzing.
This one really took me by surprise because Chelsea has been so good with that belt, and granted, you maybe move her up, but at the same time, this match wasn't announced. Well, it was announced ahead of time in the afternoon on SmackDown. Granted, Zelina got a win over her previously, but this feels quite fresh. It feels exciting, and it does make it feel like, oh, anything can happen, because Chelsea felt like that was going to be a long-term thing.
Well, definitely, but I think like the Chelsea Green's just been going from strength to strength to strength. So how long can she be sort of holding up the mid-card?
Exactly.
I think that... It's weird, and I never thought I'd call for this, but I want her up and I want her around the Women's Championship picture, and I want her to not win the Women's Championship, and I want her to bring back the Divas title and insist that she's the Divas champion. Not for a long-term thing, maybe a long-term thing for her, not as like a division.
A division thing,
but I think to have that with her character would be incredible. She'd be unbearable.
It would be a lot of fun. She's one of the best things on SmackDown. Another one of the best things on SmackDown last night was the TLC Tag Team title match.
Why wasn't it on Mania?
Exactly,
It's like they went, the roof's too high, we can't hang anything from it, we've not got a long enough rope.
It was daft. It was absolutely daft, and the Street Profits have addressed their absence from it. Obviously, they had the match last night, the TLC Tag Team title match. They won that match, and following SmackDown, Montes Ford said, this is just the beginning. We know we've got a target on our backs. We know everybody wants the smoke. We know everybody wants these. But truth be told, Byron, they look too damn good on us, and quite frankly, they ain't going nowhere. What did Dawkins add, though?
Dawkins then said, we knew we had big shoes to fill, and all three teams went out there and laid it all on the line. Just like those three teams did, we gave them, WWE management, a reason to say, damn, we shouldn't have left those three off Mania. We should have put those boys on the big show, which is right. I don't, like... TLC at Mania, man.
It just feels...
It feels right. It's a
right.
massive stipulation, but at the same time, I know you've got to have massive matches for weekly TV. This is a reason to tune in. Come on.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get it. But at the same time, when you look at the tag title match that was on WrestleMania, it wasn't that great. Like,
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, like it wasn't that great. The response to it wasn't ideal. The match didn't really go the best. When you've got this match sitting waiting in the wings and is on SmackDown the following week, yes, you want to sell tickets to SmackDown, but were they struggling to sell tickets to SmackDown? Were they struggling for viewers?
But
no.
It's a chance to sort of have these massive moments where, you know, people get on talent's side. Everybody's saying, why isn't the match on Mania? Everybody's rallying around these three teams. These three teams go and put an absolute banger on TV. It's proof that they can't be left off any further PLEs going forward.
Yeah, right? They're kind of undeniable at that point. But it was a great match. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. All three teams were absolutely fantastic. And props to the Street Profits. I thought they might lose it on this one. Yeah. But I'm glad they're keeping those belts. But
I just love them celebrating in the crowd afterwards as well.
They've got the smoke. The crowd has got the smoke, and they've got the tag team titles. But rounding things off just now, we do have a match set for Backlash. It's very predictable if you've seen the Backlash poster. It's, of course, John Cena versus Randy Orton. It's in St. Louis. It's in Randy Orton's hometown. Why wouldn't you have this match?
But also on the poster, Randy's got snakes for hair.
He does have snakes.
So maybe we've got a new look Randy Orton with snake hair.
He's having a Medusa gimmick.
Yeah.
Maybe he's turning John Cena to stone. Well, it was confirmed on SmackDown last night that this match will take place at Backlash. We had a little promo battle between them. John had said, like, once I leave with the title, your championship reigns return to zero. You're no longer going to be a 14-time world champion.
It's done. I'm taking it off into the sunset. set and I'm going to use it like a coaster in my Hollywood trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Prior to SmackDown, though, WrestleVotes had reported that this was indeed the plan and that WWE would be billing it as Cena versus Orton one last time. Now, their last singles match came together was on February 11th, 2017.
It's been a long time. Like nearly that. Oh, God, it's nearly, it's nearly 10 years.
It's nearly 10 years. Full 8 years since their last singles match.
God, it's so long ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I hope the match is good. I'm worried it's not going to be based on how the match was at WrestleMania for Cena. It looked like they were working around a lot of limitations, maybe.
Look, they didn't call it the greatest match ever, and it doesn't have him and Edge going for a 45-minute walk through backstage.
Maybe, though.
I think that it's going to be better than both of those matches sellotaped together.
That is a
mercy.
You're going to put money on that?
I'm going to put money on that. I also, it's Randy and Cena. I think it's it is a one last time match. We're expecting these big marquee matches from Cena's farewell tour. Yeah. You'd like to think there's going to be minimal to no Travis Scott interference, and if there is, Randy can capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And just sort of have that kind of ready to go. But at the same time, I feel like this is going to. I think it's going to be a good match. I'm really hoping.
Okay.
I believe.
I will only enjoy
I believe in Randy Orton after he did the Joe Hendry
He did the Joe Hendry stuff. He's the believer now. I will only enjoy the Travis Scott stuff if every opponent of Cena gets to hit the finisher on him. That is the only way I'll enjoy that Travis Scott stuff. Anyway, that is all we've got for you just now. We will, of course, be back later on today with more wrestling news. But at 2 p.m., in case you've not noticed, we aren't in the normal place we film news.
No.
That's not the normal background.
No, we're back to the 2017 news.
Why, Sam? Why are we here?
Well, Adam lost at Mania, and in the grand tradition of Adam losing at Mania, he's going back into Hell in a Smell. It is by far and away the worst one we've ever planned. Yep. He has no idea what he's walking into. You have no idea what he's walking into. So be there for 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
It is...
It's barbaric.
It's bad. It's the worst thing we've ever done.
And no joke, there is a horrible smell all around Newcastle this morning, and I think it's got something to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, see you then.